हेलो बेटा, वेलकम टू अनदर वीडियो। इस वीडियो में जो चैप्टर का नेम है वो है द बुक ऑफ नेचर, प्रकृति की किताब। तो चलिए फिर शुरू करते हैं। व्हेन यू एंड आई आर टुगेदर यू ऑफन आस्क मी क्वेश्चंस about many things and I try to answer them. Now that you are at Missouri and I am in Allahabad, we cannot have these talks. I am therefore going to write to you from time to time short accounts of the story of our earth and the many countries, great and small, in which it is divided. You have read a little about English history and Indian history, but England is only a small part of the earth's surface. If we want to know something about the story of this world of ours, we must think of all the countries and all the peoples that have inhabited it, and not merely of one little country where we may have been born. I am afraid I can only tell you very little in these letters of mine, but that little I hope will interest you and make you think of the world as a whole and of other peoples in it as our brothers and sisters. When you grow up, you will read about the story of the earth and her people. In fact, books, and you will find it more interesting than any other story, our novel that you may have read. You know, of course, that our earth is very, very old, millions and millions of years old, and for a long, long time there were no men or women living on it. Before men came, there were only animals, and before the animals, there was a time when no kind of life existed on the earth. It is difficult to imagine this world of ours, which is so full today of all kinds of animals and men, to be without them. But scientists and those who have studies and thought a great deal about these matters. Tell us that there was a time when the earth was too hot for any living being to live on it. And if we read their books and study the rocks and the fo- fossils, the remains of old animals, we can ourselves see that this must have been so. You read history in books, but in old times when men did not exist, surely no books could have been written. How then can we find out what happened then? We cannot merely sit down and imagine anything we wanted to, as this need not be true, as it would not be based on any facts that we had seen, although we have no books written in those far off days. Fortunately, we have some things which tell us a great deal as well, almost as a book would. We have rocks and mountains and seas and stars and rivers and deserts and fossils of old animals. These are other like things are our books for the earth early story, and the real way to understand this story is not merely to read about it in other people's books, but to go to the great book of nature itself. You will, I hope, soon begin to learn how to read this story from the rocks and mountains. Imagine how fascinating it is. Every little stone that you see lying on the road or on the mountainside may be a little page in nature's book and may be able to tell you something if you only know how to read it. To be able to read any language, Hindi or Urdu or English, you have to learn its alphabet. So, also, you must learn the alphabet of nature before you can read her story in her books of stone and rock. If you see a little round, shiny powels, does it not tell you something? How did it, it get round and smooth and shiny without any corners of rough edges? If you break a big rock into small bits, Each bit is in rough and has corners and rough edges. It is not at all like a round, smooth powels. How then did the powels become so rough, round, and smooth and shiny? It will tell you its story if you have good eyes to see and ears to hear it. It tells you that once upon a time, it may be long ago, it was a bit of a rock, just like the bit you may break from a big rock or stone, with plenty of edges and corners. Probably it rested on some mountain side. Then came the rain and washed it down to the little valley where it found a mountain stream which pushed it on and on till it reached a little river, and that little river took it to the big river, and all the while it rolled at the bottom of the river, and its edges were worn away, and its rough surface made smooth and shiny, so it became the ovals that you see. Somehow the river left it behind, and you found it. If the river had carried it on, it would have become smaller and smaller till at last it became a grain of sand and joined its brothers at the seaside to make a beautiful beach where little children can play and make castles out of the sand. If a little powell can tell you so much, how much more could be learned from all the rocks and mountains and the many other things we see around us. Thanks for watching this video. If you really learned something, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.